Welcome into Triple Zeros. I'm your host, Josh Buckhalter. Follow me on Twitter at JoshGBuck. Hit up the Facebook page, Clocker Sports. The website is clockersports.com, and the email address is clockersports@gmail.com. We just wrapped up Week 9 in the NFL with the New England Patriots finally getting off the schneid against the lowly, woeful New York Jets. It's hard to celebrate this kind of a victory because you can't be the team that lets the Jets get their first victory. But at the same time, as a fan of Cam Newton, listen, I'm glad that they didn't go out like some suckers because it was looking kind of grim for much of that game. The Jets came out with some fight. Joe Flacco, remembering that he used to play well against the Patriots back in the day, decided to revitalize some of that tonight. He threw a very, very costly interception, but he kept them in it for much of that game and was playing really, really well. It also helped that he had his receivers healthy for the first time this season. So that's not, to be overlooked. Fact of the matter is, though, like I said, my boy Cam has been under a lot of scrutiny, and rightfully so. Plenty of turnovers the past few weeks. I think it was 6 turnovers the past few weeks. 5 interceptions and a big fumble, the one that lost the game against Buffalo. Didn't have any turnovers. It wasn't a great game, but look, they don't have a lot in that on that team. Although what you did see was Jacoby Myers, and I will tell you this: Jacoby Myers is definitely going to be a guy who makes the waiver wire list for Clocker Sports tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that, because that man was going off in this game. But like I was saying, Cam was getting slandered as usual, and again, rightfully so. But man, it was good for him to be able to go out there and not give the Jets their first W. And as much as people will clown teams for being happy to get this win, I remember when the Lions did it, when the Browns were doing it, how teams just didn't want to be that team. You didn't want to be the one that gave up, right, the first win. So it actually becomes more of a challenge on the team facing the winless team than the winless team, because obviously the winless team don't have any more else to lose. They just keep losing it anyway, so it can only improve. But yeah, the fact that they went out there and did it against, dude, I don't know what we're looking at here with this Patriots team, but it's a hollowed out shell of anything that it used to be in the championship runs. And that's all due respect to what Brady was doing with this group last season, but it's just not good. So I kind of cringe when I see people trying to destroy Cam for it, because I'm not saying he's great. He's been bad. He's definitely been bad. He's not the Cam of old, and he probably won't ever be that again. But there's also not a lot to work with outside of that. So like, it's almost like, it probably isn't great from him. It's not great around to be. So how we don't know how much he's progressed as a pure passer without being able to see him with improved weapons, because this looks like a team that he could have had down in Carolina. That looks like the weaponry that he's had down in Carolina. A bunch of guys, basically. So, yeah, it was an interesting game, though. Very interesting game between the Jets and the Patriots. Jets made it very a tightly contested one, ended up being 27-24, 27-20. Anyway, very good game. Very good game. The rest of the Week 9 recap, though, was also interesting. We started off last Thursday. Aaron Rodgers finally beat the 49ers 34-17. I should mention it was a very, very depleted 49ers team, but Rodgers is now 5-6 against San Francisco, including now being 2-4 in Levi Stadium. Of all the weird stats, I think that might be the weirdest, because they haven't been great most of his career. Now, I know they had Alex Smith there, and they got good, but Alex Smith wasn't great, when he first got into the league, and that was always the competition. Smith went first. Rodgers fell 26th, I believe, to the Packers. That was depressing, because I saw him sitting there, and I liked Aaron Rodgers coming out of Cal, and I said, you know what, the Bears need to go ahead and just pull the trigger, and no, because of quarterback reasons that shall remain unnamed. Rex Grossman. Anyway, ugly times, man. It was not cool. But you also saw Rodgers get smacked by these 49ers last season twice, including the NFC Championship game. But in this game, he was 80%, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Like I said, though, they're very depleted. No Jimmy Garoppolo, no Raheem Mostert, no George Kittle, no Deebo Samuel, no Nick Bosa, no Solomon Thomas, no Richard Sherman, no, they just traded Quan Alexander. This is not the 49ers, and they still were competitive for about 3 seconds because this game was like 34-3 up until the last 2 drives. So let me not act like they were competitive at all with that 34-17 score. They weren't. But Rodgers got his win, so I guess that that's a tough team. The Bears play them. My Chicago Bears play them in about 3 weeks, I believe it is. That's not a matchup that I'm looking forward to. Packers are on a roll right now and are getting healthy again. So the Giants beat the Washington football team 23-20. This is notable only because Alex Smith is now set to start in Week 10. How the hell did we get to the point where Alex Smith is set to start an NFL football game in Week 10? Well, Kyle Allen dislocated his ankle on a nasty-looking leg rip, also suffered a fracture. I believe this was the 2-year anniversary of Alex Smith's injury, which is just like, damn, bro. So I feel like there was an incident on the 1 year as well, but whatever. We're not going to get into all of that. Damn. Like, that's damn. So we'll see if Dwayne Haskins finally gets called back up and gets a start again. I can't imagine they want to start Alex Smith. Although, to be fair, Alex Smith played well. So maybe I'm underestimating the dude who I just can't believe is still going back out there, especially for a team that doesn't have much going for it. But they can win the division, so who knows? Maybe this was the break Alex. Ooh, wrong turn. Maybe this was the chance Alex Smith needed to get himself back going. Good luck. Good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck to Kyle Allen too, and hopefully the speedy recovery there. But yeah, the leg will look nasty as well. It just did not look like it was going to end up being anything good. And quick word came out that he'd be out, and then you saw him get carted off and all that. And word came down fast that he'd be undergoing surgery, which I believe he went on Monday. So speedy recovery to Kyle Allen. Never want to see that. But Alex Smith set to start in Week 10. Wow. New Baltimore beats Old Baltimore 24-10. That is the Baltimore Ravens beat the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm just knowing this. It's not really significant for any reason. Playoff purposes, obviously, for the Ravens. The Colts are kind of one of those wishy-washy teams. You never know what you're going to get from week to week because they do have a good defense. The offense is depleted, obviously, at the receiver position. But they still were finding a way earlier on. And even some other weeks, but just not this one. And we'll see what they do on Thursday night against the Titans. That'll be a good game, actually. Strength versus strength, weakness versus weakness. We'll see what happens and who prevails. But back to this game, the series is now 10-6 Indy all-time, surprisingly. I think you can realize, a lot of that is Peyton Manning, some Andrew Luck stuff going on in there, too. So not really that surprising when you think about it, but still quite interesting overall to think that Indy has the edge all-time. The Chiefs had to hold off the Carolina Panthers 33-31. Patrick Mahomes for 372 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, as I think now has regained the lead. Or if he's not in the lead, him and Russell Wilson have to be neck and neck for MVP. Wilson, I believe, is at 28 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Mahomes, though, just 3 less touchdowns, 25, with 7 less. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 1 interception this year. 1. He's thrown 25 times. My man is on pace for 50-2. I was going to make a case later on about Derek Carr being a dark horse because of the fact that he was out here throwing on pace for 32-4, right? Like, I was seriously going to sit here and sit here in front of you and make that kind of case. And then I just said that stat out loud about Patrick Mahomes, and I thought to myself, well, hell, I think we're over here. I was going to make a case about there being another chance for my boy Kyler Murray, whose train I was on early on, trying to promote for the MVP early in the season. Jumped off that wagon real quick because, that didn't go quite as well as I had hoped. I don't think Lamar hasn't been in there this year. He hasn't been looking great, but Russ was there for a while. Josh Allen dominated for a while. He kind of fell back to earth. Maybe he's back up now to the game that he had against the Seahawks, where he threw for 415 yards, 3 touchdowns, 81% completion, 44-34. They beat Russ's Seahawks. Russ 392 touchdowns, 2 more picks though. That brought him to the 8. Yeah, Mahomes 1 pick. Again, you've seen everybody. I've gone from Kyler Murray to Josh Allen and Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and this one, I'm not sure this one's going to come back down because They've got more weapons than anybody. They're healthy, and their defense is playing surprisingly well. And did I tell you that they had a lot of weapons? They have a lot of weapons. Just in case I didn't make that abundantly clear, this is something that I probably should have seen coming. Murray was always a dark horse. The Russ one, though, I was kind of hopeful for, but the turnovers have gotten bad for him, especially because they're coming in very critical moments for his team. Now, granted, he's not playing with the luxury of a defense at all, really, especially one that's giving up the passing yards that they're giving up. But and that's why we're going to have Jared Goff on the fantasy waiver wire article as well this week. Plug. But you still can't have those kind of turnovers. Like he's got some Nick Foles and pretty much on Monday night Joe Flacco-esque turnovers. You know what? That's the Twitter question. Go head over to my Twitter, like I said, Josh G. Buck. Which would you rather have, Nick Foles or Joe Flacco? Interesting question. Back to the story though, like I was talking about. Russell Wilson just has some moments where you kind of just wonder what the hell was he thinking. You know what I mean? And I granted, I know he's, like I said, got to play perfect 99% of the time. But that means you can't have the moment like these aren't moments where he looks like he was trying to make the really cool play. These are some real bad like what moments, right? Where you just kind of are stuck for a second. So hopefully he can clean that up. Let's go talk about Derek Carr. Look, Derek Carr for MVP. Next up on the notes. I'm half kidding. You know, he's on pace for 32-4. Patrick Mahomes. That's who's going to win the MVP. Derek Carr is having a very good season, and I think the Raiders, as we saw, they already beat the Chiefs, have a serious they're a threat to these other teams for the AFC Championship game, and they're a dark horse for the Super Bowl because you had Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger suffered injuries to both of his knees, but there's hope that he could play. Baltimore hasn't looked great. Kansas City is Kansas City, but like I just said, they've already been beaten by the Raiders. I'm not worried about the Texans, the Jaguars, the Titans, or the Colts. Like, are you serious? The Browns? The Bills are a threat, but I think they're still a little bit ways away from what John Gruden will be able to do. And now, he doesn't have a great defense, but just their ball control and the Bills' defense not being great against the run, I think you just never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened than the Raiders making the Super Bowl, especially in the year that we've already seen. Tua 1, Kyler 0. The Miami Dolphins beat the Arizona Cardinals 34-31. I just want to take a moment. I don't even care what happened in this game. It was a great game, interesting game, very entertaining. But the young QBs in the league, you got Tua and Kyler who are going to be compared to each other for quite some time. But you also got Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. You like what you see. That's I think a boost after guys like maybe, Sam Darnold kind of give you some questions. There's questions about Baker Mayfield. You still don't know what you have in Jared Goff. You still don't know what you have in Carson Wentz. Obviously, you like what you see in Patrick Mahomes. You like that. You're okay with that, right? Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. There's questions there about both of those guys, honestly, but you like what you see so far. It's good to see that they're not all misses, and some of these guys are showing some very serious promise early on, especially like I said with the Tuas, the Burrows, and the Herberts, because Kyler kind of struggled. You saw the promise last year, but he kind of struggled in that first year in that kind of wide open system as it is. But Tua not being flashy his first game, not looking good really, but not looking horrible, not looking out of place in his first game. Burrow and Herbert have looked like they belong from day one. Just really good hands I think the league is in going forward, especially, like I said, after it looked like it was going to be some dire straits coming up with the Trubiskys and the Darnolds and the Baker Mayfields. Not great, Bob. Not great shakes. The Steelers almost fumbled the bag, like I think I tried to bring up there, against the Cowboys, 24-19. They barely snuck one out. Ben, like I said, hurt both of his knees. Garrett Gilbert, and I'm going to tell you why I'm so mad about this, but Garrett Gilbert makes his first start in the NFL, 55% completion, not great, 243 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 3 scrambles, 28 yards, not great, but he looked like he belonged and he was making plays. He was making plays for a lot of this contest, and I'm upset because the Bears are struggling with Nick Foles. They traded for him, and I'm going to have to get into that. I'm going to need like a whole session for that one. I know I've had a few guys on here to talk Bears, and we never seem to get to everything because it's just there's so many depressing aspects of this team. And I'll plug that in a second. But, oh, man. Anyway, back to the one that I'm talking about now. Oh, my gosh. Garrett Gilbert, 55%, like I said, 243, 1-1, 328. The Steelers are, I keep saying it, if Ben can really play, we'll see how, both knees, like, damn, both knees. But we'll see what happens. If Ben can stay healthy, the Steelers legitimately have a shot at 16-0. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, and it's crazy to think about it, and the Ravens probably pop them. I think they maybe have one or two more tough games, maybe, the rest of the way. If there's a chance. There's a legitimate chance. Now, how that translates into the postseason, who knows, but they have the defense. They have a very explosive offense, we know, when it's all clicking. Who knows? The Saints blessed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I mean absolutely took them outside and gave them the beatdown of a lifetime, 38-3, swept them for the season. I think it was Tom Brady's first sweep. Oh, and I dropped this one, 2012, 2011. Long time since Tom Brady's been swept by a divisional rival. 80% completion for Drew Brees, 222 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Brady, 57%, 209 yards, no touchdowns, 3 picks. His first 3+ interception game since 2011, if I have that correct. That was against the Buffalo Bills, where the Patriots lost 34-31. It was ugly. Like, it was reminiscent of the Bears game, except for there was actually offense, like good offense on the other side of the ball. The Saints led like 31-0 at halftime. Like, it was bad. It was bad. It was absolutely awful, and Tom Brady looked bad. He looked shook. He couldn't hit receivers when he had time. He didn't have time often, and some are saying it's the Antonio Brown curse. Look, I'm not saying it is. All I know is I have some Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown shares on my fantasy team, so I need them to figure it the hell out expeditiously. Thank you. Takk McKinley talked his way into a release. He was a member of the Atlanta Falcons this morning, and by this afternoon, it became official that he would no longer be so. If you recall, last week he was speaking on the Gram and on Twitter, I believe, one of the social media platforms, talking about how the team was goofies for not trading when he requested it, when they had offers on the table and they could gotten good deals after seeing some of the trades at the deadline last week. McKinley took to social media to air his grievances, and, well, this is the repercussions. Now, granted, it's not ideal that you have a guy who is talking mess about you and calling you goofies. Now, maybe if you're not from Chicago, you don't understand how hard the term goofy hits, and I don't think McKinley is, but he gets it, because calling somebody goofy is one of the most hurtful of insults around these parts, and so I felt that with the fury of 1,000 suns when he tweeted that out. But be that as it may, I'm not sure if I would have released a very talented pass rusher such as himself for no compensation. They should have tried to shop. I guess they couldn't get anything for him. But man, that's not what he said. Who knows? Who knows? You just hope that they figure that out, and hopefully he finds his way to the Bears, because they need all the help they can get. Because as we saw, despite them getting to Ryan Tannehill several times on Sunday, they still fell to the Tennessee Titans in a game that really looked a lot closer than it was at the very end. But the fact of the matter is, and if you go read the article, we're not entertained. Here's what we're seeing from the Chicago Bears lately: nothing. The defense is putting up a fight, and I want to attack them for the breakdowns that they have, for the gashing plays, for the big play to Buster Screen to A.J. Brown. How does A.J. Brown end up on Buster Screen? The lack of a pass rush. For Ryan Pace putting a $30 million pass rusher who just finally surpassed more than half the snaps or something along those lines, or I think he's done it once this season before that in Robert Quinn. But I can't blame a defense. Chuck Pagano for being too vanilla. I want to blame him, but I can't blame a defense when the offense isn't guaranteed to score even a field goal, let alone a touchdown. And it's not because I don't think the kicker can make a field goal. I have the utmost confidence in Cairo Santos. But this offense just can't move the ball consistently, and really at all, but definitely not consistently. So, 5-1 is now 5-4. Face Minnesota Vikings, leading rusher Dalvin Cook on the way. Go into the bye week to lick your chops after Dalvin Cook tries to run rough shot. Hopefully, they shut him down like they shut down Derrick Henry, because if you make it a Kirk Cousins game, I'll take my chances with that. That's fine. But you go into the bye week, and then you come out of the bye week and you face the Packers. And now, listen, bless their hearts. This has been a struggle. These next two contests could very much make or break the season. If they can come out of here, I know I would love a 2-0 out of these next two games. But if they can come out of here 1-1, they can stay alive. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing, because it might be best to lose as many games as possible and get a better draft pick. But knowing these guys, they'll mess it up anyway. So maybe they need to be picking from the value bin. Some guys that fall to them in their laps and they can't screw it up. Who knows? Chances are they trade up anyway for a quarterback in this draft. We'll see how it all goes. But, oh, man, it is turned from a happy, enthusiastic, upbeat feeling to just, oh, damn. Wow, how do we get this dog emoji or the dog meme with the dog in the fire? This is fine, except for now we know it's not fine. We have cracked. It's hot. We're sweating. We got 2nd and 3rd degrees. It's not good. It's not good right now. Not a good. Send help. Send help. There have been offensive linemen that have come free. The Bears decided to send out Alex Bars at center. They keep sending a Rashad Coward out there. I don't know what the hell that's all about. Good news is Jason Spriggs is supposed to be back. Sam Musserford's played well. It's painful. This is painful. Kyle Slaughter is now going to be coming in to play backup quarterback. He's joined the practice squad. It's not looking good, folks. Things are unraveling, and they're out of answers. Head coach is hanging his head in the press conference. It's not looking good. Send help. Send help. Switching gears over to the NBA before I drive myself crazy talking about my Bears. Players are unhappy with the quick turnaround. No. NBA has agreed to a start date of the 22nd of December. That would be, and if in case you were counting me at home, for non-bubble teams, that's 287 days. That's not bad, right? Non-bubble teams are happy. For the Lakers and the Heat, 73 days. So obviously the guys who made the playoffs are worth about 100 days or less or something along those lines. That's bad. That's quick on the knees. Now, I would say this. Nobody, I would imagine, who made the playoffs will be playing their players a majority of those games early season. So you could probably see a lot of trash teams jump out to early leads in the standings just to have that crap evaporate by midseason. Now, it'll be a 72-game season. Like I said, it starts on Christmas. Free agency begins on the 20th, and you can sign guys 2 days later on the 22nd. This is notable because the draft is on the 18th. So you're going to be drafting guys just 2 days later. You're going to be signing guys in free agency. Oh, by the way, if you're a team like, I don't know, the New Orleans Pelicans, you still don't have. Ouch. Things are getting bad. Like, I don't understand what's happening, what the holdup is. Why are you waiting to This is quick turnaround. This is a quick turnaround for everybody. And I understand the players who don't want to play. Like I said, you're not going to see a LeBron James out there. You're not going to see Jimmy Butler out there early on in the season. You're not going to see Kawhi Leonard out there. Stan Van Gundy's got to get himself going down there in New Orleans. I almost said they didn't have a head coach. That's fast. It's fast. That's a quick process. I think it's more notable for the process that has to take place over the next month, because that's just next week. The draft is next week. Free agency 2 days later. Signing guys 2 days after that. Season start a month after that. Training camp is 3 weeks away. Like, dude, what? Ooh, talk about a short-lived championship for the Lakers, man. They're gonna have to repeat. We'll see if any of these deficits that these teams fall into early on hurt their chemistry and affect them later on in the season. But I would imagine that you're going to see, like I said, a lot of the big-name guys, and especially the teams who made late runs, not playing early on in this truncated season. Hopefully they keep it around. Like 72 is nice. That's nice. That'll work. 72, crisp. Speaking of the NBA draft, it'll be, like I said, November 18th, 1 week from Wednesday. Who will be going number one? We've had rumors of all three of the top names, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and James Wiseman being mentioned as the top overall pick. We've heard rumors of LaMelo and Edwards having poor interviews. Edwards having a poor workout, Ball having a poor interview. Haven't heard much of Wiseman. Not to say it hasn't happened. I just have not seen it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. One thing I have heard, though, is that my Bulls are supposedly rumored to be in the mix to trade up to number one. To get their guy, be it Wiseman or Ball. I would be happy as long as it's one of those two guys. I can't imagine they go up to get anybody else. If they do, that'd be great. Do it. Don't hesitate. Do it. Get the star power now. Shuffle the roster later, but if you can make that move, go ahead and make that move. We'll see what happens. The Timberwolves have literally been rumored to be taking Wiseman and Ball today alone. I mean, literally in one day alone. Two different sites, obviously, but clearly no one knows anything. We're all speculating here. I think that's one of the best things about the Bulls, and I'll probably have to release that one for Pippen Ain't Easy. I've tried to formulate the way to get the three visionaries thing. I think I waited sad on that one a little bit too long. That's not coming. But I can do one about how we just don't know what's happening with the Bulls and what direction that they're going in. We've had rumors, but we don't know, and I think that's the best feeling because it's a cautious optimism as opposed to being anxious and nervous that they're just going to blow it no matter what, which I think we've kind of seen that they may have done. We'll find out this season for sure, but that the needle is definitely leaning more towards the side than the hey side. So we'll see what happens with this draft, and what ultimately happens with those picks that have now hopefully developed into better players this coming season. But 1 week to the draft, a little bit over a week until free agency, little under a month until. A little over a month, until start of the NBA season for 2020-2021. Insane. That's going to do it for this episode of Triple Zeros. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at JoshGBuck. Hit up the Facebook page, Clocker Sports, the website, clockersports.com. The email address is clockersports@gmail.com. And, of course, read the stuff, Last Word on Pro Football, Pippen Ain't Easy, clockersports.com. Check out American Betting Experts. Read the waiver wire article that'll be out tomorrow. Of course, like I mentioned, you're gonna have Jacoby Myers on there. You're also gonna get Alex Smith. It's a rough week. If you have Patrick Mahomes going on by, if you have Deshaun Watson and the boys going on by down there at the Texans, you have to look at Alex Smith and Nick Foles. I know. I'm gonna check the betting one too. Looking at the Titans and the Colts. I'm not sure which one I like in that one. That's a tough game to pick right now. So be looking out for that one on the Clocker Sports coming out Wednesday. Tuesday, there will be the waiver wire article, and Wednesday also have the Bears preview for the Vikings and what I'm expecting to happen for them before they go into the bye, and what I think is going to happen with them into the bye. Once they get into the bye, what changes we might see. Also, be sure to join me next episode, and we'll break down what's happening in some of these divisional races with some of these teams as we're more than halfway through the season. Everybody's played 8 games now. We can finally address what we've seen, who we think is real, who we think is fake in the funk, who's going to make it out when everything's all said and done, and who's going to be an early exit or not even going to make it there, fall short. The Bears. So that'll all be happening obviously on Thursday when we stream next, but it'll drop on Friday. Until the very next time, I think you already know what it is, man. That right there is the sound of the